Hello, hello, citizens. Welcome, welcome to our very special sports episode. I know this isn't usually my usual content, but I have a special guest today, Bocce Go Hawks, who inspired this episode. I was on her live with um, Carol, and she was flexing all her Seahawks knowledge. And so I was like, we should do an episode on sports because you guys know I've been wanting to talk about sports for the longest and do like a sports show. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her on. Hey, Bocce, how are you?
Hi, go Hawks. Sorry. Just
Go Hawks, Bocce, go
yeah,
Hawks.
yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing great overall.
You
Um,
got your jersey on, so if y'all
yeah.
don't know,
I
Bocce
just
is
said
a
that, but I yeah, yeah.
Seahawks fan. She's
What?
got
Say that
the
again?
jersey. I said you're a Seahawks fan,
Yep, yep. I
so she's
am.
gonna be flexing all her knowledge on all of that,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be talking since this is a lawsuit channel and legal lawsuits. We're gonna be talking legal lawsuits, but we're gonna be talking about the Seahawks and Patriots who are going to the Super Bowl. What that means, their past history, because I honestly had forgotten that they had already gone up against each other in a Super Bowl, and it
A
was quite
Seahawks fan will never
controversial.
forget.
It was controversial. Tell us a little bit about why it was controversial. What was the last play?
You know what's gonna be controversial is the fact that I actually agreed with the call by Pete Carroll. So it is forever etched in the memory of the Seattle Seahawks fan base. The LOB, which was the Legion of Boom, which was our defensive folks. A lot of them were injured, and so we were trailing behind. And there was we came back from behind. Jermaine Curse had the most amazing catch. And I always think to myself, if we had won the Super Bowl, people would still be talking about that body catch that he did, where like he was almost juggling the football and then hugging it to himself. We get there, we're about to win.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to win our second Super Bowl. You know, we could have created a dynasty. I think it would have soothed over things because Russ and the team and just the difference between how Russ is as a person and how the team is and da da da. But anyways, but what had happened was Pete Carroll called a pass. Now this particular pass, let me tell you, had been executed 100% of the time with no issues. The problem, I think, was I forgot which Seahawks player we had got traded to the Patriots like a week beforehand, before the Super Bowl or whatever. I don't know how early on he got traded over there. And unfortunately, some of our play calling was a little predictable, and they knew that this was coming. They had actually practiced for it. And I feel like Ricardo Lockett was unaware of who was around him. And anyways, long story short, there was an interception heard around the world. And people were all like, you should have handed the ball to Marshawn Lynch. We could have won that Super Bowl. I'm like, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, because they're like, it was just a 1 yard line. If you just gave it to Marshawn Lynch, we would have won. Except Pete Carroll wanted Russ to be the MVP. And I think that really fractured people because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody was trying to have Russ be the MVP. He wants to win a second Super Bowl. So it had nothing to do with that. Yeah, but Malcolm Butler had the interception. Oh, it was tough. And that's the thing. It wasn't just slapped down. Like he straight up intercepted it. So we did. But here's the thing that's wild too, CJ, though, is that we had enough time. We had enough time that we could have potentially still won that game even after that interception happened. But one of our players in the O-line moved. And then that pretty much locked it in. And so there's so many frustrating aspects of it. But the big thing is like people kept like using that against Russ, using that against Pete, and saying you should have ran the ball. But I'm like, look, Marshawn got stuffed in different times too in this game. There's no guarantee that he would have ran it in and it would have been fine, or that he wouldn't have fumbled the ball or whatever. Like anything could have happened. So I feel like if I were to connect this to Justin Baldoni real quick, I
Yes.
I feel like Russ was the right person for this to happen to, because I think another quarterback would have been destroyed by it, because there was the amount of animosity, the amount of like whatever. Like I don't think other ones could have shouldered a lot of it. Um, and the only reason it makes me think of Justin Baldoni, and I think Elsridge did a video on this, was really like, oh, he
It
maybe
was my
like,
favorite part. She was when she was on Hot Mics with Billy Bush. If y'all haven't watched Zach and Elsrich over there on Hot Mics, I know exactly which part you're talking about. What
can you
she
say
said.
what it is? Because I was just
Yeah.
reading it, but I didn't get to hear it. I was
Yes.
reading it.
Okay. So she goes into, oh my gosh, I really want to clip it for my Monday show. So y'all stay tuned on Monday because I want to clip that part. But she goes into talking about God's timing and how God's timing was, even though Justin Baldoni felt he was like forsaken by God in that moment, that everything was like in due time. And then she transitions from saying that into that it happened to basically the right person, Justin Baldoni, because if it had been somebody else, like another director, she's so funny. She's like, I don't care about that man. Like, I wouldn't have cared because of how people are ride or die for him. And the only reason why we're ride or die for him is because of who he was in his past or who he is in his present, the type of person he is, because he is this like loving man and he's so relatable and everything. Like, people want to back him up. So that's why she's like, if it had happened to somebody else, he wouldn't have gotten the support. People would have been like, whatever. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons why she said it happened to the right person, because he had the willingness, he had the support system too behind him to help him get through it. We had Steve and obviously Jamie, who
Yeah,
I think is so incredible that they stood beside him, especially Steve. Steve could have just thrown him under the bus and been like, whatever, like y'all messed up my money or whatever. And I did an edit on it.
I saw
Where
it.
there's a text message, where Steve says, like, I don't care about the money. If we never make another movie or I lose all my money, like, I still love you guys. I thought that was so heartwarming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
no, I mean,
obviously Taylor couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, he
I
hasn't
mean,
even made a
she
statement.
ghosted for real. But there was so I honestly, because I didn't get to like watch it, I was just reading. Like I was
Mhm.
watching it, and reading it, but I couldn't. I didn't have my audio up. But it made me think of like there's Esther in the book, in the Bible. There's the person Esther in it, and
Mhm.
it made me think of that statement of like, for such a time as this. Like I think like people are done with Hollywood in a lot of ways, um, and tired of being played by Hollywood in a lot of ways. So I think people want the unmasking, and I think it was a perfect person to do it. And the funny thing is, I think Blake thought she was doing it. She's like, I'm unmasking or like peeling like the smear campaigns of the ways that these folks did it, and she actually just like exposed herself in the end. I mean, okay, that sounded wrong with everything that she's suing for right now, but I
Yeah,
mean,
where's my allegedly bar? Let me wait. I forgot to put my bar down here. Well, because I was like,
I
we've been
meant,
talking sports.
but you knew what I meant, right? Not I meant not physically, but like,
Yeah, let me get my bar down here for she says, because what'd you say, exposed herself?
yeah, I'm like,
And she
okay,
says,
maybe
"What you
that
said
was
I was getting nude," or
that's the incorrect term.
and
I
actually
did
my
not mean
color is off, y'all. I changed into a box because Bocce was a circle and she was trying to stay inside the circle.
Yeah,
So and
y'all,
then my color got switched. So let me go back to my original colors. There we go. We got the original objection colors.
oh,
So back to the Seahawks. So this wasn't the first time, and that was like this, a lot of Seahawks fans were like super hurt by that loss. So this is kind of personal now with this rematch. I didn't realize how personal it got because they had that bad loss there. So now they want to come out with the W on the other end for this one because I mean, to kind of redeem themselves for what happened last time. And I could kind of relate to what they were talking about with Pete Carroll and stuff though, because we always joke around as an Eagles fans. Y'all know that we're Eagles over here, but as an Eagles fan, every time, and he got fired too. The offensive coach just got fired, but every time he'd run Saquon on third, and we're like, "Why are you running him?" We'd get so mad, and so I understand because fans get passionate about different play calls and stuff, and that was one that cost them the Super Bowl. So I can understand why they'd be pissed.
And I mean, honestly, I think that sports is the one place that, societally speaking, obviously there are a lot of women that care about football, right? However, the majority still remain to be men that tend to watch football. And I think societally speaking, it's the only time they're given permission to show every gamut of their emotion without being chastised for it. So they can cry, they can scream, they can cheer, they can, like, whatever they're feeling, they're allowed in sports. And so I think to some degree, that's why I think some men really love sports, is because that's the only time they're given permission to feel every emotion.
Wow, I never even saw it like that, but I mean, that does ring true. It's like they're able to express. I get really crazy. Like, I don't even go out and watch sports no more because I'll be like yelling, and I can only watch sports in my own home because I get pretty crazy and passionate about it. I'm really passionate about football, especially. Um, and that's why I wanted to do this episode, because when I heard you talking about the Seahawks, I was like, she's super passionate about it. She knows all the history and all the different stuff that went on. And I honestly fell in love with the Seahawks just on that night, on that episode, through like what you were talking about them and all the stuff Russell had to go through and all that, which we're going to get into. I think let's just get into the Russell part before we get into any of the lawsuits and stuff, because I had saved it for the end, but I feel like it'll fit in here. Because Russell Wilson, he was there for the Seahawks for a long time, and then he made the transition. Because I wanted to pull this stuff up. He got a lot of flack, right? And after leaving and all that, it said, because I pulled this article up. He's accused of ruining the NFL for every player because of the deal that he ended up making with the Broncos. Do you know like what happened with that? Or
So I mean, I strongly believe it's because, and I didn't read this article, so I don't know what they're claiming, but I do think it comes down to Deshaun Watson had just signed like a completely guaranteed contract, which is unheard of, and like probably not. It was a poor decision on the Browns. I feel like the Browns make a lot of poor financial decisions for their players, and it really did not work out for them to do what they did. But because Russ was like the next player, they thought, okay, what is he going to be asking for? And they thought if Deshaun Watson, who has less history and accomplishments than Russell Wilson has, like what is he going to ask for? And he really honestly gave like a hometown deal. I mean, it was not his hometown. It wasn't Seattle, but like it was a deal that said, I want to stay here. Now, obviously it didn't pan out. Like it was a bad first year. He was injured. A lot of the O-line for the Denver Broncos was like, they were decimated.
Oh.
So
I remember that.
Yeah. So then at the end of the day, like it was a horrible first season for Russ. And then everybody's like, he's washed up. He can't do anything. Then they got Sean Payton, and that was a whole other disaster that I get irritated. I was like, how disrespectful a coach is if you get Russell to talk. Russ has never. That
was another thing, was that he also outed, like how the inner workings were. I felt like it was like kind of like what Baldoni's doing with Hollywood. I was like, he also kind of outed the inner workings of the NFL and how it functioned. I heard that he was maybe one of the first players to have like an executive office or ask for an executive office and
that's
stuff.
Not true.
That's
another true. That's another thing that I felt like was used. Yeah, I think that's another thing that they use to be divisive about things. First and foremost, Teddy Bridgewater even had like an office. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm here and it's just that Russ, aside from other quarterbacks, it's just a place where other players can come in. It wasn't like, oh, this is my office and nobody else can come in. He has people come and watch the things or whatever. And I think what had happened for like, I think part of that animosity came because Russ came in with the same, like, our 2012 draft class was such an amazing draft class, and they all came in together, and here was this third round rookie who is not tall in comparison to what typical quarterbacks were. So that was the first knock. And I remember when I first like first time that I saw him play, and I told my cousin, and I was like, oh my word, I want this guy to be a quarterback. And my cousin literally said, he's never going to be your quarterback. He's too short. And you just like sign Matt Flynn for a boatload of money. They're not going to choose a rookie who's short and once they've already paid a bunch of money. But he won that job fair and square. But I think it caused a little bit of animosity with the rest of the team because all they've ever known was that organization, and our organization was really good to all of our team, all of our players. But I think they never experienced that quarterbacks do get treated differently than the rest of the team. There is more responsibility on a quarterback's shoulder.
Yep.
And I think because Russ was young too, and like, I think there was just, they just felt like he got favoritism. And I'm like, that's not an issue you should have with Russ. That's not his fault.
And even that loss, the Super Bowl loss, or, you know, it all kind of went on Russ. Like, he got so much crap for that.
I mean, at the same time, it at the end of the day, it is an execution thing. So he had to own that. You know, he had to bear that because nobody else. But at the same time, it is a team sport, and there were definitely flaws in how it was protected in general.
And that's kind of the thing when watching football. You also have to like think about like what you said earlier, like prior moves could have, you know, affected it. Like, why is it that this was the reason why we lost? You know, maybe if the offense had, you know, given us more points in the beginning, or, you know, whatever. That's the thing about football. It's always like a what if game. And then all the blame goes at the very end, like, oh, they dropped the ball and they're who lost the game, you know, like.
Yeah. And I mean, and you're going to get bad calls. And if you're a good team, you're going to play in a way that you overcome those bad calls, because bad calls will happen. And people sometimes are like, we lost this because of this bad call. And it's like, you shouldn't have been that close. I mean, honestly, we should never get to a point where the ref is the one that decides it. But even like the first Super Bowl that the Seahawks went to, that was a big thing. They felt like it was almost rigged. That's how it felt like. No offense to any Steelers fans that might be in the space right now. I don't know if y'all are Steelers fans up in here, but which is ironic because we were started to joke that Russ really went to every place that we faced them in the Super Bowl, because he went to the Broncos, and then he went to the Steelers, and then we were just saying he should have gone to the Patriots, but instead he went to the Giants.
Yeah. Speaking of, it didn't Ben Roethlisberger say that he wanted the quarterback, is it May, for the Patriots, that he wanted him to beat his old record? Because if they win this Super Bowl, then he becomes the youngest player to, I guess, win the Super Bowl, something like that. So you were Steelers, and I'm like, I guess Ben is rooting for the Patriots, and he wants them to beat his record. Because right now they're the second most team that has Super Bowls.
I mean,
but if they win, they'll be the first most team that won Super Bowl. But as we transition from talking about quarterbacks, let's talk about Darnold. Good old Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Is he for real ahead of Super Bowl 60? Because that's another thing I was sad for. You went into a whole Sam Darnold diatribe, and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I haven't really seen him play that much. I'm going to be honest. I haven't really seen except for the one time that you were like on a live saying that you were waiting for the game or whatever. And that's when I was rooting for. It was also the Seattle. What was it for the baseball too? I started rooting for those teams. I was like, Bocce likes them. So then I would watch the game. I've only seen like one or two Seahawks games this season. But I've heard great things about him. Do you think that he's going to like have to prove himself with the Super Bowl, or?
You know what? I always feel like people underestimate the Seahawks. They always have. And I think it's because we're all the way in like the Pacific Northwest. There's just no respect for, we've had to fight for every bit of respect and every bit of like recognition, because there's an East Coast bias that always has existed. It's something we've learned to not necessarily accept, but expect, at least at the very least. So Darnold should have had respect from the get go. I mean, with the consistency he's shown, but obviously, like, you would listen to any analyst and they would act like he's not even important. So it's frustrating, but he's I'm proud of him. He's also injured right now, or at least
Yeah,
he
I
was
heard he
injured.
got injured at the last game, during the
I
last
mean, he's
game, right?
been injured, and yet he's been able to perform. So the good thing too, though, is that this defense is strong, and so I'm hoping that one, he doesn't get that he is able to play, because I mean, I think our backup, if it's still, because I haven't had I actually didn't get a chance to watch much of football this season. I mean, it's a weird thing because it's something that I would have done with Chad a lot. We would have watched these things together, so a lot of things had changed. In regards to that, because he usually would get everything set up, like we would like it would be after church, and he'd put it on like the wall or whatever, and so it just hasn't been the same. So I guess the only game I really watched was this NFC championship game, but I obviously like knew that like Darnold was doing well and
I mean, he
deserved
got
the
us this
respect.
far. He got y'all this far, right?
Yeah,
He
no,
got
and
y'all this far, so he's doing something right.
he's had two good seasons. I mean, I think it's been 2 seasons now, right? Has it been more than 2 seasons? I think is at least 2 seasons. He's had it. He's been consistent. I mean, we've had very consistent quarterbacks. I don't think we've ever really had bad. Yeah, I mean, since Russ, I think every quarterback we've had has been consistent, and that was the great thing about Russ when he was in a good physical health, was that he was consistent. You could trust that he would perform. Gino was the same way. He wasn't flashy, and he wasn't one that I like I really want to watch him and everything. But the same thing with Darnold. I mean, he's consistent, and that's all you can really ask for as a quarterback. That you can count on him to deliver.
Yeah, it's saying that the only problem going in that this article at least was saying was that he still is doing a lot of turnovers and stuff, and so hopefully we don't see a repeat of a turnover that cost them the Super Bowl here. Really quick for the chat that didn't know who Chad is, because a lot of people don't follow you. Go give Bocce Go Hawks a like and subscribe over on her channel. She's super, super incredible with the Baldoni stuff. But if you guys don't know, there's also the whole Chad saga, which I love. It's so like dear to my heart. It was her friend who had passed away, but they used to watch like the baseball games together and the football games
and movies on Tuesdays. All of
yeah,
the things I stopped.
I honestly I love it when you share him with us because it's really wholesome, and I know it's just like a part of you that you wouldn't normally share, something really private. And so I feel really lucky when you do share it with us because like I said, it's really wholesome, and you even wrote a couple songs. There's an album, right? There's an
Yeah.
album with some songs.
I'm actually kind of sad because I did a bunch of songs on Donna, the app, before I went to Suno, and all those songs are gone. I can't seem to get them, and I'm like so irritated. It's because I gave up my phone. I don't know, but so many of my songs were on there for him, and so I
And
was like,
really
oh,
quick, we have a new follower / subscriber, Ozzy, Queen of the Ruse. She was saying hi to you, Bachi, earlier. She
oh,
just said she
hi.
subbed over to your channel. She's got to head off soon, but she's here for a bit. She's really enjoying it. Thank you so much. So she just kind of waltzed in here, and I appreciate that. And thank you to the chat. I see you guys. I saw y'all saying hi to us and everything. We have a Patriots fan in here. So we're going to get into all the Patriots lore. I'm wondering if some of this stuff is going to affect you guys. We're going to get into 2 players on the Patriots have legal troubles, one criminal, and then one criminal and legal as well. So we're going to get into that part. I'm kind of going out of order from the document that I had pulled up, but I feel like we're going with the flow since since we got Patriots fan up in here. So we're going to take a closer look at these legal troubles and whether y'all think this is going to affect the game. Because it's two players, and I'm like, I mean, it's got to. So the first one we're going to do is Stephon Diggs, known for Cardi B's boyfriend fame. I mean, that's how I know him, which goes to show that I'm
I
more
didn't
into
realize that. He was dating
so he
Cardi
just
B?
had a baby with Cardi B.
That baby was his?
Yes, that's Stephon Diggs, the football player. I was like, same
I
guy,
didn't realize
Patriot.
that.
So it's so funny because my friends always come to me for pop culture when it comes to let me see if there's a picture of him now. I'll just pause this right here. They always come to me because they make fun of me when I remember when Jay Cutler was still playing, and I'd be like, oh, he's gonna do bad because he just had a baby, or like I always knew like all the outside like info of like what they were doing, if they had girlfriends, if they were, how it would affect the gameplay. And so this is back when we did fantasy football. Have you ever played fantasy football?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so fun. Yeah. And so they would always come to me like, is anybody got babies? Anybody? So that's why this is, I mean, Stephon's a brand new dad. That could also affect him. But this is, he actually filed 2 civil lawsuits for extortion and defamation against the people, against these people who also filed counterclaims against him. So there's reality TV star Mia Jones, who Diggs had dated, who is claiming that, or his suit claims that in June of 2024, she and a female friend, after a night of drinking, had gone back to his apartment and I guess started beating up on him, destroying his property. So I don't know if this was like a cheating thing or if they just got too drunk or what. He also claims that she said, "You're not going to be playing this year," and threatened him with a gun. It says last April, Jones filed a countersuit which accused Diggs of punching her in the back of the head during the night in question. And she also claimed Diggs almost immediately made efforts to get her to sign an NDA. So it's unclear. I'm going to dig up the actual filings because, you know, y'all know I'm nosy, especially when it comes to legal stuff, especially when it's he said, she said stuff. I want to dig further into this. Then in October, Diggs also sued Christopher Griffith, who's a clothing designer that he had teamed up with, for defamation. This after Griffith took to Instagram to claim that Diggs had drugged him and SA'd him at his home. So these are the 2 lawsuits that are affecting him. And then there was pretty sure there was a criminal charge against him, but it doesn't say it here.
I mean, wouldn't what you just described last night, wouldn't that be criminal?
I don't know if those were the same people that filed the criminal case against him.
Because that sounds like SA, what you just described.
It might. Let me go look to see what. Well, these are civil lawsuits. It's one against the other. But yeah, let me see.
Wait a minute. Why would that be a civil case? That sounds wild to be just a civil case.
It was extortion because he's saying Jones was trying to extort him by making stuff up.
Oh, okay. So he's saying that the SA did not happen.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Because I was like, dang, that sounded like a.
Let me see what his criminal case is because I thought it was going to be in that same article, but it's not. So it's a misdemeanor assault. He assaulted somebody. Let's share this tab. Why Patriots? Why? Oh, he assaulted his personal chef. Stephen Diggs' assault charges explain why Patriots wide receiver is playing amid his lawsuit. Because that was another thing. I was like, wait, how are these people playing if they're? Because usually in the NFL, if you have like a controversy or something, they'll either sit you out or kick you off the team, right? It says they were blindsided by a pair of unexpected off-the-field distractions late in the regular season. So we're going to get into Christian Barmore. He's the other player, but let's see.
Oh, that's the person criminally charged.
Diggs has been Drake May's top target all year. Let's see. Assault charges here. His former personal chef claims the Patriots star slapped her and tried to choke her out over a salary dispute in early December. She then reported the incident on December 16th. So this is like a month ago. This is right before the Super Bowl. The woman claims during the conversation, Diggs became angry and smacked her across the face. Why is he still playing? It says the NFL typically waits until legal cases are resolved before issuing suspensions, which I guess that's a good rule because y'all remember, like with the Jonathan Majors case, he got dropped from Disney like before, like I think the night when the accusations came to light, before there was any investigation or anything. Um, so it says, which is why Kansas City Chiefs Rashid Rice, for example, wasn't suspended until 2025. As long as that precedent is followed, there isn't any reason to expect Diggs to be suspended by the league at any point this season. The only exception would be a scenario in which Diggs is placed on the commissioner's exempt list, which the NFL describes as a special player status available to clubs in unusual circumstances. But it seems like he's going to play. And then there's this guy, Christian Barmore, which I'm learning about all these other players because I don't really like dig into a lot of other players. Christian Barmore will not appear in front of the district court next week. His arraignment on charges of strangulation and domestic assault have been postponed until March 9th. This means that the New England Patriots starting defensive tackle will be able to go through with his team's full preparation for the Super Bowl. So I wonder if like these things, because it seems like it's two of their main players. I wonder if it's going to affect how they play or if it's going to take into account. Like imagine having all that like on your back while you're still trying to like one of the biggest games of the year. And was Stephon Diggs did he play? Is this his first Super Bowl? Do you know? Does the chat know if this is his first Super Bowl? Because always like the first time you're going to the Super Bowl is way more like on your shoulders than it is if you've already been there. Trish says, why are people so violent with each other? Can't we all just get along? These lawsuits sound crazy. I know. And the Busta Rhymes one is even crazier because he apparently would slap around his driver and stuff too. That's what it reminded me of when the chef one. It reminded me of Busta Rhymes and Diddy. Diddy also had claims of slapping up a chef. I'm like, dude, these are the people that cook your food. Why would you do that?
Yeah, you don't want them spitting in it.
Okay, so your husband's a Patriots fan, and he said that it's weird because that doesn't sound like him, but you just never know. And also, we know that people like to like make stuff up for money too, so you just never know. That's why I was like, I want to read the. No, you have not missed the Benito segment, Life with Carrie. We're about to get into Benito right now. I'm just going through the chat real quick. But what do you think? Do you think it'll affect it? Just you personally, like, do you think that outside stuff affects their playing, or do you think it's the Super Bowl? They're just gonna, lock in.
I think they're gonna lock in. I mean, I don't think you can be at this high level of a platform or whatnot and not have your head in the game. I mean, because it's something that you will regret if you don't show up the way you need to. Because the same way, like last game with the NFC Championship with Woolen, he made a really big mistake. He got into he talked back or talked like did some sort of thing that cost us, right? I said if we lost that game, that would haunt him. So I think it could play into the way they play, but they got to just they're paid a lot of money to stay focused. So I think they will.
And I mean, they got us this far. I mean, well, the one lawsuit was just in December, but I always keep saying, like, they got this far. They're at the Super Bowl. So they must have, gotten their head on straight.
They can compartmentalize.
Even Stephon with his, and Stephon probably doesn't live with Cardi B, so he's probably not the one listening to the baby cry at night. Because I doubt that he's there. I mean, he might be. He might be there. I don't know.
They're not together?
I think they're together, but I don't know if they live together. Like, I mean, they're not, there might be like boyfriend and girlfriend, but I know he has like other kids, and I don't know that they live together. I mean, I don't know that they don't live together. They might. I just assume, he's doing his own
together?
thing.
They're still together.
Yeah, they're still together. They're still boyfriend, girlfriend.
Okay.
But who knows how their living situation is? Because I know he had another baby at the same time.
What?
Around the same time the Cardi B thing happened. So that's the craziest part. He's got a ton of kids. So let's get into the Bad Bunny of it all.
Dang.
Is why did everybody start filing lawsuits right before the Super Bowl, right? Like Stephon had his, and all this stuff is happening, right? Like what was it, December? And then now Bad Bunny gets hit with the lawsuit right before the Super Bowl. $16 million lawsuit. The plaintiffs claims that she unwittingly recorded a line in 2018 that has become instantly recognizable for its association with the rapper after being used in 2 of his songs. And it's crazy because this is not the first time that this has happened, which we'll get into. But let's just read about this new lawsuit. Tenali Serrano Rivera says that her voice was sampled without her consent. She alleges that her voice appears in Bad Bunny's songs Solo de Mi and EOE off his new album. It says the audio in question is Rivera saying, Mira, puñeta, no me quiten el perrero, which roughly translates to look, asshole, don't take away the perreo, which is a reggaeton style, like it's kind of like twerking, but for reggaeton. Rivera claims the catchphrase has since become widely associated with Bad Bunny, which is true because I think he even has merch with it on there. Yeah, right here it says he frequently plays it during concert and uses the phrase on his merch. I've seen it on merch. Rivera further alleges that she recorded the line in 2018 at the request of Bad Bunny's longtime producer, Roberto Rosado, known professionally as La Paciencia. So she claims that she never signed a contract or license or authorized it, and she's demanding $16 million. Rima's Entertainment is his company, and they haven't said anything. But this isn't the first time that this has happened because his ex-girlfriend, Carlos de la Cruz, also had claimed in a 2015 recording that he featured her voice. She had left like a voicemail, and he said that, or she said that he had originally offered her $2,000 for it, and she refused. And she's like, "No, I don't want you to use my voice," and he still did it. Well, she ended up winning, and I had it pulled up, but I don't know where that window went. But she ended up winning the case, and I believe it was $40 million that she asked for, and she won a judgment. But it's still open. The case is still open, and I didn't realize it until like they started reporting on this that the case was still open. Because I did an episode. If you guys want to like go into like a deep dive of all his lawsuits, not this one because this one just dropped, but his other ones. There's an episode under my lives that's called Bad Bunny Lawsuits, and it's got his face on the front. So you just find the thumbnail. I don't know if Laura can link it in the chat, but so I thought it was already closed and she had gotten paid, but apparently I went and dug up the docket and it's still open. It got referred to another court for like the judgment to be fulfilled. So he still owes her, I guess, the 40 million. So this girl's only asking for 16 million. So probably about half of what he was she was asking for. It says oh well, that was about the other one. So that's Bad Bunny. So he's getting hit with 16 million. And then he also has another lawsuit pending, which this is the one that I'm sat on because I'm wondering about his Super Bowl performance set, like what it's going to look like and what he's going to like, it's like one of the biggest stages of all. I remember when Rihanna was going to do the performance, everybody was like speculating, like which songs is she going to do? What's going to happen? Because one of the things that he used in his concerts that was a big hit was this house right here. It's called La Casita. And this is the house in Puerto Rico that he basically asked this man to like, hey, can I video your house for like my video or whatever from the outside? Then later on, he wants to like go on the inside because he wants to rebuild it for his concerts. So they go inside, they measure everything. But he doesn't realize that they're going to use it for all his concerts and all this stuff. And next thing you know, his house becomes like a tourist spot. And there's all these people in front of it. And so he's now suing because he wants like, I guess it's a copyright thing. He wants the money that he's making off of the house that is his, like this is the image of his house. He argues that the exposure has caused him his privacy. According to the lawsuit, dozens of visitors show up every day. And he's basically saying that he's suing them for $1 million in damages. He claims he was misled into signing the contracts because he couldn't read, and that officials used his digital signature without properly explaining the terms. In return, he received just $5,200, while the video featuring his home racked up more than 22 million views. So they actually said that they used his digital signature that he had initially signed for just them videoing the outside of his house, that they used that in order to replicate his house and all that stuff, that they basically kind of like committed fraud with his signature saying that he
Mm.
had agreed to like everything and he had only agreed to the videoing of the outside of the house. And so I wondered, because this was like a big thing on social media. Every time he did a concert, there'd be like a different like celebrity inside the house. And so that was something that people that were fans of his could look forward, like who's the next celebrity that's going to be inside the house. So it's like a big deal. And so I'm wondering, like, is he going to be allowed to use this for the Super Bowl? Will he take the chance? Is he not going to use it? Is it going to be part of his set? But what I'm thinking is like with so many copyright stuff, you think with the amount of money that he has, wouldn't he just like pay these people? Like if I was going to use this for merch and all this stuff, wouldn't you think that he would just like instead of going through lawsuits and stuff, it seems easier than to waste money with lawyers, especially after
Mm-hmm.
going through it once, right?
Mm-hmm. I was about to say this is a definitely distinct pattern of what he's getting sued for. There's got to
It's
be lessons learned here at this point. Like, who's your lawyer? Who's like
yeah,
advising you?
um, yeah, I think it's just funny because it's like the amount of money that they're suing you for. I mean, he gave the guy 52 200 because there's the other side of the coin where people think like, oh, now that it became popular and famous, these people are just trying to make, their buck. But I'm like, if I was that girl, according to the filing, the most recent filing, she recorded that for like a college class that his producer was in a long time ago. So it's like, should she be held accountable? Like if I mean, that is her voice. I feel like in that case, she's in the right. That's her voice being used. She should get a cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so let's continue. So the last one that I'm going to get into is his other lawsuit, which is this one's really interesting, and this is the one that I did the deep dive in over there. So he's in a really big lawsuit, and it's so funny because I always talk about this lawsuit when I'm talking about Baldoni. This lawsuit has been going on for like 5 years, and
Dang.
their docket number is at like 1,000 something. And I'm like, Baldoni and Lively, it's only been 1 year and they're in the 1,000s. So when we were going over that episode, I was like, you guys, like, and I think back then it was only like at 800, the Baldoni case, but still, I was like, you guys, this is a 5-year lawsuit, and we're already at that docket number with Baldoni. So this was a really interesting one. It's a reggaeton copyright infringement lawsuit, which basically is going after all of the reggaeton artists, saying that they are using a beat from Afro beats, like in their music. It's a distinctive beat that came from Afro beats. And so they're suing the entire reggaeton genre and all the artists in it. So this one, I do feel like it's kind of unfair because it's like, how do you copyright a beat? You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
everything comes from something. Like I don't know. There's a lot of like hip hop beats and different things that came from like rhythm and blues and stuff like that. And I know we have been talking about the violins that you're using for your new music. Like
Mhm.
copyright the violin sound. Like that is that just for jazz? You can't use it for anything else. Or so I thought this one was interesting because I'm like, dang, you're gonna sue a whole genre of music. So the song is the instrumental percussion of a song called Fish Market. And it seems like, yeah, they're going after a bunch of people. I think Bieber is in this one too, Drake, anybody who's ever used the hi-hat beat of reggaeton in their music. So currently he's up against three lawsuits as he heads into the Super Bowl show. And remember, you don't get paid for the Super Bowl. So he's also spending money on the Super Bowl show. Hopefully he gets, I'm sure you still get money from commercials and, all these other things. They make money somehow, right? By putting their face out there.
Mhm. Because
Um,
usually there's like a every time somebody does a halftime show in the Super Bowl, their sales for their albums skyrocket usually.
oh, the album sales end up going big.
Usually.
Yeah, that's how and then they make money through like other stuff like sponsorships and stuff probably too. Because I know
Yeah.
sometimes like the Super Bowl performer will be like in a Super Bowl commercial.
Mhm.
Um, isn't the digital signature thing under review because of the Biden thing, like planning to stop digital signatures? Oh, I didn't know that. Are they starting to stop? I mean, that's crazy that they would use his digital signature a bunch of times. He should have sued for more because this is messed up, the La Casita guy. Yeah, and he's just like this poor old man in like Puerto Rico, and he's just like, they keep coming over to my house, and yeah, Trish is like only 1 million. I know everybody else is like 16 million, 40 million, and he's just you could tell that he's just like, yeah, welcome DFJ and welcome everybody that's coming in. The reggaeton slander. Yeah, it's like how can you sue a whole genre? That's the thing for me. And we deep dive. I actually got like the fish market beat and everything on that other live stream. We actually went over like the beat and the entire lawsuit. I had the whole lawsuit. And it was really hard to find the La Casita one because it's in Puerto Rico. It took me like a week and a half just to track it down. I was like relentless. You know how I be with my sleuthing. I'm like, I'm gonna find it. Um, okay, so I think we are wrapping up here as we get into the conspiracy part. Oh no, we were gonna get into some other lawsuits that have played out. Something fun here. With Super Bowl performers, we had Kendrick Lamar. Y'all remember Kendrick Lamar? Was that last year or the year before? I think it was. Was it? Yeah, it was last year. So we had Kendrick Lamar, who eventually he didn't really get sued per se himself, but UMG got sued because he performed "Not Like Us." Drake claimed Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance was orchestrated to assassinate his character. And there's actually Sarah from Yarn and Order is going to be covering it. I'm so excited. I'm going to have her on my show Monday night. And then Bocce's going to have her on, or no, you already had her on 17
Mhm.
Questions with Bocce. You
I
guys should go
did.
check that out. Yarn and Order. She's an up and coming creator here. Used to
I
be on
always
TikTok. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say whenever I see Drake, it just amuses me because that's like again, whenever you have something melt with the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case, I'm thinking Michael Gottlieb, his lawyer,
Yes.
and Melissa
And
Nathan, his PR. It's
yeah,
like
I'm going to get into that. Yeah, that's really weird that they're like, he's going after Melissa Nathan, yet he's repping. But if you guys don't remember, don't follow like all my other content where I said that Michael Gottlieb was the reason why he lost his uh his lawsuit against UMG because when the judge made their decision in writing, there's a footnote that basically says that plaintiff's lawyers did not let the judge know which exact lyrics were part of the defamation, or not exactly which exact lyrics, but what in the lyrics were defamatory. So he wasn't able to explain what other interpretation it could have other than what the judge interpreted it to be, which was the lyric stems from him calling him a PDF file. But there is a song that Drake made prior to Kendrick, because it was a rap battle, right? So prior to Kendrick dropping Not Like Us, it was a song in which Drake was basically like 8 miling himself. Like, what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about how I like young girls? And so when Kendrick clapped back, they asked Michael Gottlieb at the hearing, like, how else could this be interpreted other than, him clapping back? He told them, talk about how I like little girls. So Kendrick is talking about how he likes little girls and or younger girls, whatever. And so he wasn't able to elaborate on that. And now the latest on this case is that he just filed an appeal like yesterday or the day before. I think it was like Wednesday. He just filed an appeal. And Michael Gottlieb was like, we're going to go all the way. I think he was the one who even talked to the press and everything. So who knows how that's going to go, if it's going to have legs and they're going to throw it back and say that it does have legs, which I don't know if it will, because it will expose a lot of like what the music industry is, which we already knew, the pay for play with radio and all that stuff. But this actually happened after his Super Bowl performance, so it wasn't like he had that on his shoulders. Oh, look, there's Sarah. Yes.
hey,
So cool that you're in
Sarah.
here as we're shouting you out. I'm super excited. Yes. I'm glad that you're covering it. And Sarah, if you have like, I think it's like a 2 hour long live, but me and Pam Entertainment TV, we went through the whole lawsuit, all the key players. If you wanted to get some some like what happened in the very beginning of the lawsuit and stuff, the first lawsuit or the original. And it has everything in there. I think we even read some of the dismissal, like that hearing. I think we go over it. But yeah, so I'm excited that she's going to be covering that appeal. Y'all go check her out over on Yarn and Order and check out Bocce's episode with her on the Baldoni stuff. And then the other one that had been another lawsuit that came out of Super Bowl performance was MIA, who ended up settling with the NFL because she flipped the bird at the Super Bowl. So she was performing with Madonna and she decided to like flick off the cameras at the very end, and she got fined for, I believe it was 16 million. They filed a claim with the American arbitration seeking 1.5 million. In March, it was not resolved, and so they filed some more papers seeking 15.1 million. So and then she texted Madonna, "Can I borrow 16 million?" But it seems like she ended up paying them. And the reason is because they end up incurring like FCC fines. And so they were basically like, well, we need to make our money back. You decided to flip off the cameras. And so that was another, but again, this was after her performance had happened. And then there's also the infamous Janet Jackson one, which it didn't lead to a lawsuit or anything. That was just FCC fines. And I don't think that they went after her for any monies because it was more Justin Timberlake. But I'm interested to hear in the chat y'all's favorite Super Bowl performances. And do you have a favorite, Bocce? Do you have a favorite Super Bowl performance of? Oh, is she not there? Oh, she accidentally dropped, I think. Hopefully she comes back in. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know what I did.
Do you have a favorite Super Bowl performance?
Oh my word.
DFJ says Lady Gaga. That was a good one.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I still get upset that Janet Jackson got all the flack and Justin Timberlake just he never got blowback at that time. Like she got everything. By the way, Yarn and Order Sarah, thank you for wanting my Seahawks to win. But yeah,
it's so funny how you have so many people that like just because you like the Seahawks are now rooting for the Seahawks. Because that's how I was. I was like, when we were watching the World Series and then my team, I was like, okay, now I'm rooting for Bocce's team because she wants Seattle to go for Chad. But yeah, that is funny because I'm the same way, Sarah. Michael Jackson, she's saying, Gelf Walker, that was a good one. That's a classic performance.
Wait, when was that?
I think that was in 80. Let me see when. I think it's 86. Let me see. Let me find out the exact year. But I like the classic. My favorite was Aerosmith, Britney Spears, NSYNC. I used to like it when they had like the collabs, and then it was 93. It was 93. I'm like 86. It was 1990. Oh no, wait, no, that wasn't it. Hold on. I'm looking for Michael Jackson. Hold on.
Maybe I should look up Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, it was 1993. Yeah, look them up to refresh your memories and see which one you liked. So my favorite was the Aerosmith. Let me pull that one up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Back in the day, so there was like a 7-year period where they had like themes for the Super Bowl show. So I think this one was like Rock and Pop United or something, but they would have like different themes and then they would get different artists to go with the themes. So let me see if I can find this one. Let me click it. I just want an article. I don't want a video.
You know what?
I can just pull this one up.
I don't know if I have any ones that I was like, oh.
So this is the one I'm talking about. It was NSYNC, Aerosmith, Britney Spears.
Oh, that's iconic.
Mary J. Blige and Nelly. And I just found out while I was putting together the show that Nelly was in 2 different ones. So he's had 2 Super Bowl halftime shows. Y'all remember the Beyonce one where like the whole stadium blacked out as they were performing? Y'all remember that one?
Yes. Oh, yes. I remember that.
That one's a memorable one because it was
That
like a
was
lot of people
memorable for
said it was
sure.
like a ritual, allegedly for entertainment purposes. They should
Did
do.
Eminem do one or no?
Yeah, Eminem was he did one with it was all the hip hop people. It was Dr. Dre,
Okay, I
Snoop
think I
Dogg
like that one just for nostalgia purposes. I think I like that one.
from Geth says they should do a Weird Al Super Bowl. That would be funny. Just a bunch of parody songs. So Green Day is going to be opening up the Super Bowl, and then we're going to have Benito do the halftime show. And I forget who's doing the national anthem. Let me look because I totally forgot. National anthem for the Super Bowl. Is it Chris Stapleton? Oh no, it's Charlie. I said Chris Stapleton. I was so off. It's Charlie Puth who's doing the Super Bowl. So it'll be Charlie Puth, and then Coco Jones will be doing America oh no, wait. Brandy Carlisle will be singing America the Beautiful, and Coco Jones will be performing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Mm.
So you get a little bit of everything. So I think because Brandy Carlisle is kind of like country, and then you get Charlie Puth, who's kind of like more like R&B. Well, no, Coco Jones would be R&B. I don't know what genre Charlie Puth is. I just remember him from the Selena Gomez like thing where he said something about Justin Bieber on stage one time. That's the only thing I know about Charlie. Him and Selena had a thing at one point.
Did
But as
Justin Bieber ever do one?
No, just Justin Bieber should do a Super Bowl though. I would love for him to see him at the Super Bowl halftime. He's going to be doing the Grammys though, so I'm excited about that. He will be at the Grammys. Look, DFJ with the fun fact. I danced in the Super Bowl in 2003. Well, look at you. Who was performing? Were you out on the field and everything? Look at you, little fun fact from Armand over there. I just remember him from the TikTok with the guy who thought Charlie Puth died when it was Charlie Kirk and he was confused. There's nothing funny about that, but that is funny that he thought it was Charlie Puth. I hope Justin Bieber is better. I mean, he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders and stuff. The old school rappers, yeah, that's the one Bocce picked too, Trish. The old school rappers for the nostalgia. But as we wrap up the show here, we're just going to go into a final little conspiracy theory because for all my fellow tinfoil heads in the chat, y'all know that so this is the NFL conspiracy going around for the Super Bowl, and of course it's the Sun. Remember the Sun who used to be like the aliens are coming. Seriously, but it says the NFL released a statement over the Super Bowl predication graphic conspiracy theory with the Seahawks. So here's the graphic, y'all. Let me see if I can zoom in. Okay. So here's the graphic, right? So this was at the very beginning of the season. They had posted it to Instagram, I believe, and it's like, you know, the hunt is on, who will get it. And of course, Barkley's here. Love me some Saquon. But he's in the very back, and we did end up like losing or whatever. And like there's Purdy, Mahomes. But look who's in the very front of the image. Can y'all make it out or no? This is as big as I can make it. But there is Darnold right at the front, and there is May right at the front. So there's a conspiracy that, you know, hashtag the NFL is rigged. And y'all remember when the conspiracy was about the color of the signs? Remember? Like, and this year, I mean, I guess you could say there's that like yellowish green there that could be Seahawks colors. And then maybe like the pink could be like the red from the Patriots, but I don't see the sign conspiracy. But there was a couple years where they were saying that the sign colors, like last year when the Eagles went, it was like it wasn't an Eagles green, but it was like a green. So people were like, you see, you know, it's in the writing. But yeah, that's the conspiracy theory. I don't think it has legs. I mean, I think it might just be a coincidence, but it's still fun to
Why did they choose to put them all up in the front like that?
Huh?
Why did they choose that? Because honestly, we don't really usually get respect. So, I mean, I guess it's smaller as the closer they get over here, and you get to see the names of these people in the back. But still, find it curious. I don't know. Sometimes it does feel. Sometimes there's moments that it does feel rigged, but at the same time, it's like people work too hard for it to be rigged. Like if I was a player, if I put my body on the line and my potentially my brain, I'm not gonna throw a game so another team can win. Like there's no stinking way. So I don't think
Yeah,
the players would ever be in on that. Like that's too much. That's too much potential harm to their bodies and their minds to be doing that.
so we're gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it was just a coincidence, only because Barkley's all the way in the back, and if this is true to form, he would have been like more right here because they barely like they made it to they won their division and everything, and so I feel like if it was true to form, some of the teams that ended up going like in the very beginning would be in the back, you know. But really quick, because I did want to touch on the news from today. I know that Lauren's going live on the Baldoni stuff, and I'm wrapping up. It's so funny because Laura's calling me out. She's like, obviously, you don't know CJ's Russian goodbye. My Russian goodbye. And I was just really quick. I wanted to touch on the Seahawks sale because that was news that just broke like hours before we
Oh
were coming on. Will the
yeah,
Seahawks be selling the franchise? So let me pull that up real quick.
yeah.
Um,
They changed the headlines and said, "Oh, that it's not for sale."
Yeah, that they came out with the report, but because I love how Bocce clocked this. She was like, "Look at the wording." When we were texting, she's like, "Look at the wording. They didn't actually say it wasn't going to be sold." So this is what their statement: "We don't comment on rumors or speculation, and the team is not for sale. We've already said that will change at some point per Paul's wishes, but there is no news to share. Our focus right now is winning the Super Bowl and completing the sale of the Portland Trail Blazers in the coming month." But they don't actually say we will not sell it after the Super Bowl. They don't say, they're just saying like at this time it is not for sale. They're
They've
not
already said
saying,
that it will change at some point. The some point being after the Super Bowl.
yeah, and that's what she was saying. She's like, girl, look at the wording. That will change at some point. So she's like, this doesn't make me feel any better about the sale. Um, I wanted to have Ryan Reynolds' image up here because I wanted to mess with you and be like, is Ryan gonna buy the team? That was actually one
Oh
of my good friends, one of our
no!
followers, Synth. When I had text him, Synth was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be Ryan Reynolds." He's like, "Do you think all these celebrities are gonna want to buy it? Like, pull together?" And look at her; she's trying not to puke. She's like, "No, no."
I do not
I'm like,
like
"I'm
that
gonna
at
mess with
all.
Bocce." What if Ryan buys the
Mm-mm.
team? Would you pull up the
No,
jersey?
no,
You don't even
no,
wish
no,
that upon
no.
you?
I cannot. Why would that man care to buy our team?
This is who I was gonna tell. I was like, "Y'all hit up Steve Sarowitz. Sarowitz has the money for a team.
You know what I would
Sarowitz
love,
not with."
honestly, if they could just get along. I would love the 2012 team to buy the team.
Well, all the players from the 2012 team.
Yeah, if they could just all get along, but they can't. So,
Um,
but I would love at least some of the ones that do get along
Look at
to.
Yarn and Art. I love you, Sarah. The Seattle Wayfarers.
Well, it has a nice ring to it.
That would be so funny. Other people that my follower Synth was saying was LeBron James. He invests in teams a lot. How would you feel about an NBA player investing in it?
I would like. I mean, I would love it if Russ did it, to be honest. But I don't know how. I mean, I think a lot of Seahawks fans have finally like remembered what Russ has been all those years for us. And so there's not as much animosity. But I feel like the Seattle sports and then also the Seattle organization probably they wouldn't even if Russ did offer. I don't know if what they would do. But
And then I thought about like billionaires like Elon Musk. Like,
no,
I mean,
no,
I've never seen him. You're like, nope. I've never seen
I
him
know.
interested in any sports, but I was trying to think of like what other billionaires. Taylor, you think maybe her and Travis? We know Travis
No,
bought that F1 team. So I'm
no.
just throwing stuff out there. And Baji's just like, don't mess with me, girl. Don't
No,
mess
I
with
mean,
me.
I want someone who cares about our team. I don't want all these people who are outside of our place. Like we're already like completely unappreciated, always forgotten, being in the Pacific Northwest. I want people who like literally care about us. And so Paul Allen literally fought for us. I mean, I miss Paul Allen for that very purpose. He really did, and I want someone who gets the heart and the spirit of the Seattle Seahawks. And and it's not going to be won by some random billionaire who could care less about us. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so
sorry.
you're like, no, I don't want. Well, no, that's why I was like, I'm just gonna mess with her because I knew it would be like, no, those are my Seahawks. There's no way Ryan's gonna buy this team. I'm just trying to mess with you.
He doesn't have any money left.
That's what somebody said in the chat. Like he don't have the money. So final. This is actually we're actually leaving here. Predictions. Final predictions for the Super Bowl. Thank you so much for being on the show. I know this is like not our usual Baldoni stuff, so we don't have like a big crowd or anything. But I just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun.
And I wanted you to flex your Seahawks knowledge because, like I said, I was like super sad when you were like, and then you're like, people probably don't want to hear this, and I'm like, people, I do. Like, I'm like, I want to hear it. So that's why I put in the comments. I was like, hey, are you interested in doing a sports show? Because I wanted to hear more. So I appreciate you taking your time. I know you just got off work and all that stuff. Sarah says we all need a break from that case. It was fun. I liked it. I like hearing about Russell because honestly, I did like Russell more so for the pop culture aspect because I felt like he stepped in when the whole Future Ciara thing happened and stuff.
Oh my word!
And he's such a good dad, and I love his post. But I never knew about the football drama with him, so I was like, dang, people don't like him. I didn't know that people didn't like him. I'm like, I thought he was like a pie. I mean, and then when I realized that there was like drama with players and like people, and I was like, oh, okay, let me deep dive this and see what happened. I didn't know much about him, so it was cool to see it from your perspective and debunking, what's out there about him and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah. No, I will tell you, the whole Future thing is so maddening to me because he's been married for how long now? They've got like what? How many kids? 4 kids? I don't know, including little Future. And I'm like, how are Future fans not over it already? The man literally was part of little Future's life since he was like not even 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
They were offended. Like the first time I realized they were offended that he pushed the stroller. They're like, how dare you? It's so disrespectful to Future for you to be pushing the stroller. I'm like, are you kidding me? But the one that's another thing that set them off was little baby Future. Russ was getting his haircut done in a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And little Future was leaving. He was being held because he's obviously a baby. He was a baby then. And then he said, Papa Russ. And he wanted to give Papa Russ a kiss. Oh.
And then people
like,
were
what are they calling? He's calling him Papa?
He's got a
They
dad.
were very offended.
Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, it's just so crazy. And especially because he just really wanted to be there for the baby. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird. And there's a lot of stuff also going on with Stephon Diggs too, and Cardi B's other baby daddy too. So I'm like, I don't understand why if people want to step up and be dads, like stepdads, why they get so much flack. It's like, it's always good to have a bonus dad. They said, Talisa says, I love this sports hour. So maybe we could do more sports shows next season once NFL comes back. I think it'd be fun. I'll start watching a lot of knowledge. And I've been looking for someone to do like sports shows with. I know Carol actually had my back. She's like, CJ loves sports too. I love that she made the connection. So maybe next season, and then once the MLB comes back too, because you're into baseball as well, right?
Yeah. So what is your prediction? Let's put it and see who's closer.
Yeah, let's put in the chat who you think is going to win. I'm gonna go for the Seahawks just because I feel like the Patriots have too much drama. Like they got 2 criminal cases. We all got I don't know, the Deflategate drama still around y'all. I still will never trust the Patriots.
What is the score that you're thinking?
I'm thinking it's gonna be high in the highs. I'm gonna go like 27-34 Seahawks.
Okay.
So we'll write it.
I'm going to say that our defense is strong. I don't know what the offense has been for the Patriots, but I'm going to say,
y'all put your scores in the chat if y'all think it's going to be a higher or low score.
I'm going to say 27 to 21. Seattle.
Okay.
Well, how strong is the Patriots defense?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's see.
Who
I
are
know
they?
that the consensus in the chat has been, I mean, as far as, well, in this chat, it's Seahawks as well. They don't want no smoke from you, Bachi. No,
I will cry. No, I'm just kidding.
no,
I don't
everyone,
know if
and
it's
as
smoke.
far as I've seen, like on the ESPN and everything, everyone's favoring the Seahawks for some reason. So let me see, Patriots defense. Let's
It's
see how they
very
go.
rare that this happens. It's kind of a little bit unnerving for us. We like being the underdogs. I mean, I complain about it being disrespected, but it's all we've ever known. So it's kind of like,
Okay,
Ooh,
so
I
this
do
is
like the
from ESPN. It
21-17.
says Patriots shockingly elite defense. So I guess they must have a good defense.
They do.
So it might be a lower scoring game. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a
Oh
high
wait,
scoring
you
game.
said Patriots?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Patriots
sorry, I
have
was
an
thinking
elite.
of. Okay. Well, okay.
It says it's Milton Williams, defensive
Hmm.
tackle Milton Williams has brought the heat to the Denver Broncos on Sunday. So I guess that was last game. He's the only one that's been in this position.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Sarah, yes, 17 is possible. That could
so
be
this
2
is him.
touchdowns and a
He's
field goal.
big. He's big. Wait, what did she say?
No, I was saying to Sarah, yes, 17 points is possible because that's 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah, 17 is possible. Let's see, 21-17 Seattle is what Sarah put down.
Laura, I don't know why we call it football. We really shouldn't have. Handsy ball.
The winner will be whoever broadcasts the show. Oh, the winner will be, they'll make a ton of money. Is that what you're saying? The real winner is the broadcaster.
That's true.
I'm excited to see the Super Bowl commercials because I'm hoping that, you know, that girl on TikTok with the jingles. Have y'all been following TikTok jingle TikTok? She made a jingle, like just one day up in her bed. She's like, Dr. Pepper, I got a jingle for you.
Oh, that
And
one, yes.
Dr. Pepper, baby. So I'm hoping that she gets a Super Bowl commercial or something. She made a couple. She made one for Vita Coco. She's already got like a new car. She made one for Hyundai, and Hyundai gave her a new car. And I just love her. Her name's Romeo. If you guys don't follow at Romeo Show over on TikTok, so if you guys want to delve into the jingle saga, so I'm looking forward to the commercials to see if there's any jingles from TikTok in there. Let's see.
I will say Up a Creek once said 23-11 Seahawks. That's a very specific score. That's very difficult. Now it's possible. It's absolutely possible. 23 is possible. 11. What's the ways to get 11? I mean, you could have a touchdown.
And then,
you could have a touchdown and then
go for the 2 extra points, and so that would be 8. And then a field goal.
8, and then a field goal. Yeah, that could be it. There could be a, what do you call it? Not a touch.
So she's like, wait, are the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl? Yes, Trish. You've been the whole show. I love you, Trish. Yes, they are. Thank you so much for the chat. Y'all were wonderful over here on the chat. You know, hanging out and all that. So I think we're just gonna wrap it all up. Is it still going for everyone? Yeah. That reminds me of the Toyota lawsuit that still makes me laugh. I don't know that one. All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap it up here. Bocce, Seahawks, everybody root for anything that you have coming on your channel. Can you plug your channel? Where can we find you and what's upcoming?
Yeah, so I'm Bocce Go Hawks, and I'm doing this thing called 17 Questions with Bocce, and usually I put up a new video every Friday. So this Friday I have Notorious Raven, but I'm doing a special episode on Tuesday where I'm bringing in a new person that starts showing up on my For You page on TikTok named Dedicated Yapper. But so Dedicated Yapper is going to be joining me, and I'm going to put up that video on Tuesday, and then obviously not this Friday, but next Friday is going to be Carol of Docket Updates fame, who I adore. So I'm excited to be able to.
We just did a show with her on Monday, which was super fun. I loved having her on. I hope that we can get her back on as well. As well as you, like, I love having y'all on. It's super fun. But here's her channel at Bocce Go Hawks, and it's linked in the description down below. So you guys can just link to it or go to it now Go subscribe. And then there's her, if you go under podcasts, it's her podcast series, 17 Questions with Bocce. That's her latest. I also would love for y'all to check out the 30-point series. This one was, I love this one. I
Yeah, I
got
need to
through like tons
continue.
of laundry while watching this one. She
I-
always says how everybody says that we always clean with Bocce, and I'm like, it's so true.
Yeah.
Everybody takes her to go cleaning. And then the other day on one of the lives, I was saying how people be listening to us in their pockets at work. And then someone put, yep, I'm at work and you're in the pocket. It was so funny. So cleaning and then in the pocket at work.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to all your stuff. And yeah, we'll hopefully collab again soon. In the meantime, go check her stuff out. I appreciate y'all. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Bocce.
Bye.